Hey traders, TG Watkins here. It is June 13th when I'm recording this, and you guys, here is your free and premium video. Hope you guys enjoy it. So we're coming into the end of the week. The market has been pretty crazy. We got the CPI report out, we got the PPI report. Market loved all that. And then basically not too much to say about FOMC, which was also yesterday. So let's dive into it real quick. I am seeing some weird stuff happening out there, okay? So yeah, we have the markets basically at all-time highs, okay? The S&P, the Nasdaq, super high. However, we have the IWM still kind of struggling along. It did have a pretty nice day yesterday, but it's given it all back. Can it hold here? If it can, great. Then we can look at things moving up. Otherwise, this was just a really big bounce in a continual weakness and potentially more downside. We have the Dow, which just can't get out of its own way and also looks like it's still struggling. You know, what I would like to see is if this area can hold and if the Dow can continue to move up. But if that's not going to happen, then I'm concerned that this is actually just going to manifest into more weakness and we continue to see prices go down. On the daily chart, we still have the daily 8 below the 21. This has not gone bullish yet as far as this looks. So that's a little bit concerning. The other thing that I'm then looking at, actually, let me back up a little bit. We have Apple, which, great, huge move. It's amazing to see that such a large stock like this on Apple can actually still move like that. The only thing that I'm going to be saying about this is that it is almost too good. It is so high that the likelihood that it's going to go sideways to down is pretty high, right? It's going to be hard for something like this to just keep running away. So likelihood pulling back at least. So what kind of effect is that going to have on the market? FNGS or FNGU, which is the leveraged ETF of the FANG stocks. Also, great couple of days, but it's to a point where it's likely to pull back. And I feel like some of these things, I don't know if they're at the tail end of their moves or, you know, just feel like something needs to kind of happen to kind of restart things because we are seeing basically a huge divide, a chasm between winners and the rest of everything else. It's just, it's getting pulled up by kind of like the big mega cap FANG stocks, you know, like the Dow is not doing great. The IWM is not doing that great. It's all kind of this stuff. We know NVIDIA is still moving up pretty well. Kind of wondering when this is going to run out, but so far it's doing great. Still following that hourly 50 and doing just fine. So then on to some of the cautious stuff that I'm seeing. The VIX, very low, right? This thing is very low. In fact, we haven't seen it this low in a very long time. And at some point, these things do like to turn around, and it's just, I'm just kind of watching it. It hasn't done anything yet. We've only had a signal back here, and that was kind of that little blip. But now we're looking at the pullback. Is this pullback going to turn into something? So far it hasn't, but I'm keeping an eye on it. And the same thing is true with the UVIX. Let me kind of slide it over to here. Seeing some possibilities. You know, other than this little blip, it's been drifting lower, which is good. We do want to see that. But it is getting to a point where it could be finding some support. And what if it starts to move up? We could see a refresh on that. And that's kind of what I'm wondering. And then if we move over to breadth, I think you guys have probably, let's see, SPXA 50R. Hopefully you guys have been hearing people talk about this. Like breadth has been kind of in the garbage. Like this just hasn't been doing very well. It's like why is NVIDIA and Apple and Microsoft and these names going up and only the two indices going up and the SMH going up, but this is not really doing anything, and I'm kind of concerned about this. So what I'm looking for is if we're going to see continuation, if this market is going to continue to go up and, you know, try to be healthy, I want to see something like this start to engage and actually move up. It's really just kind of in this sideways area where I could see it kind of going either direction. If the mega caps lose traction and start to pull back and everyone's like, yeah, that's a little bit too high, and then the market starts coming down, we could see this easily slip because it's kind of geared that way. Kind of like the Dow, you have the hourly 50 below the hourly 200 and you have the daily 8 below the daily 21 and you have the daily 50 angling down too. So you do have this at least kind of geared towards the downside. But if, you know, and we've seen kind of something like this before where I think it was back here. If you look late May of 2023, we kind of saw something similar. The market went sideways, breadth went down until, and I think this was when the debt ceiling crisis got resolved, and they were like, okay, we passed a new bill and we're good. And you could see everything finally went back up. And the market actually just held. You know, the indices just went sideways. It was the breadth that fell off, and then the news came out and everything rallied. And so that's why I'm like, okay, could this be bullish? And the bullish side is that, well, we're at least kind of in the lower area. We're not overbought, but we're also not oversold. And maybe things are just kind of hanging out until, I don't know, some sort of news event or some sort of trigger or something like that finally gets this going. So these are some of the tools that I'm looking around, and unfortunately a lot of things are just kind of like right in the middle to where they could flip either way. We could see the VIX move up. Okay, that's not going to be good. We could see the breadth move down. Not good. Or we could see the breadth suddenly move up, and that means more things are starting to pop on. The Dow, the IWM are both kind of right in the middle. They're weak, but are they going to fall off a cliff, or are they kind of just, you know, going sideways until they can kind of go up? So it's challenging right now to figure out where things are going to go, and that's why I am saying I think that we need to be a little bit cautious out there. You know, stuff like Apple. If you're going to be trading this, probably right here, not the best place to try and get long. It would, you know, I would have to wait for something like the hourly 50 or the 15-minute 50. Let me show you a name that I am in and that we've had a good time with. And this is what I mean when I say you got to wait for a better pullback. You see, we bought Reddit right there a couple days ago as price pulled into the hourly 50 with the Moxie indicator above zero, and that, for now, looks to be a good entry and a good trade. What you don't want to be doing is seeing right here when price is already extended. You don't want to be buying up there, and that's what I'm concerned with for Apple and NVIDIA and FNGU, you know, as far as the FANG stock grouping. So I'm a little bit concerned about these things. I'll be trading it to the long side as long as we can, but I'm also kind of, you know, got one foot out the door because, you know, we're starting to see some really kind of weird things happening. Another bigger setup that I see, and again, there can be a lot of noise along the way, is I'm looking at XBI, which are the biotechs, and this would indicate that we do have risk on because biotechs are usually very interest rate sensitive and also you know, risk on. And what I'm seeing is we've had a very nice pullback into support on both the monthly and the weekly. So from a longer term perspective, I'm looking this, and this looks like something that should be setting up nicely into the future. We're already into something like this, and so far it's been paying out well for us. So wanted to make sure that you guys can have a couple examples of things that are mostly looking good, understanding that we have some risk from the mega caps being almost too good because they're too high, and also that we're not seeing a lot of participation from the rest of the market, and we need to see that change. Either the rest of the market is going to bring the big stuff down, or the rest of the market is going to get back into gear and actually carry up. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Feel free to come on over to simplertrading.com and you can check out more of what we have to do. We're always running $7 trials for 30 days. Would love to see you guys in there. And to our existing customers, hey, good to see you guys there every day in the room, and we'll be seeing you there tomorrow. Thanks again. See you later.